All right, everybody. Now I'm going to show you how I create some vector images that I can use in my architecture drawings. You can use the same logic that we used um, on our drawing projects that we worked with Otto's drawings. So I'm going to go over here and say open, and then I'm going to navigate to our project. And here are some images that I want to create into some 2D vectors for us to use. All right, so now that our three files are open, I'm going to start with this goof and show how to take out this white background, and then we'll move to this one that has its own background that's a little more difficult, and then we'll move to this, which is the most difficult of all, trying to remove all of this background here and leaving the tree itself. Okay, so we're going to start here. I'm going to unlock this base layer, and I'm going to rename it base. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab. So this is going to select the same color as everything else in this video. So you can see I can simply just click here on this white background, and I'm going to click in the middle here, and I can press delete. And now this guy is basically cut out. I'm also going to use this to select down here. You can see this is where it gets a little hairy. It's not wanting to select everything because the colors vary. So instead of using our magic wand tool, I'm just going to hand select using the polygon here. So I use the polygon lasso tool because it gives you straight lines. You could also move over to just the lasso tool if you feel confident about your ability to draw the shape. Perfect. Say delete. And then we'll do the same here. Perfect. Okay. So now let's say I don't want this to show up as this actual guy, because in our architectural drawings, it's a little distracting. If anything, maybe I would shift the opacity down so that he's really faint. But what I really want to do is just have him be a solid color. So what I'm going to do is select my base, select my magic wand tool again. It's going to select this outline that we've created around him. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click select inverse. So now it's actually selected the guy himself. So it looks like there's a little cleanup we need to do here in his fingers. I'm going to do that quickly. For this one, I'm actually just going to use the polygon lasso tool so I can just click straight lines. Perfect. Okay, so as we discussed before, this type of drafting is destructive, right? Because I've taken this base drawing layer and I've just deleted things from it. So I can't get back by turning off layers to get back what I had before, but with something simple like this where I can just re-upload the photo as well, I go ahead and just, for time's sake, create this way in Photoshop. So now I'm going to again select, and you see I'm going to have to come in here and get in between these. So I'm going to hold shift, and you can see the little plus icon comes up with my magic wand tool, and I'm just going to start clicking in here so we have that shape that we just made. We can also switch between our magic wand and our lasso, so I'm just going to maybe do that. So I'm holding down Alt to subtract, Shift to add. Perfect, and then we're going to add here the shape. All right, now we can right click and say select inverse, and it will do so. And now what I'm going to do is use a new layer to actually paint the shape of this guy. So I'm going to go down here, create a new layer. I'm going to title this one Silhouette. I'm going to grab my paintbrush tool by pressing B as a short key, or the tools over here on your bar. And you can see we can just paint the inside of that shape. Let's say for our project's needs, we actually want it to be black. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to switch by clicking this button between the colors and paint it black. We select, and there is our guy waving. So what we do now is export. You can do quick export as a PNG. And then we're going to set up our file. And we're going to name this man waving. And there we go, ready to upload into a project. You could also, if you wanted, as I was saying before, start messing with the opacity here. Maybe you want the texture of the guy, but you want it to be lighter, and then you would shift the opacity of this entire vector image. You can get creative with it, but for now, we're just going to go with this. Okay, so moving on to this lady. We can do similar tactics, but you can see our magic wand tool. You have to click a lot of times to grab this entire background, and there's little holes missing, which you can do. Something that is pretty cool with new Photoshop updates that I didn't have when I was first learning this is this AI remove background thing they have going on when you first open. Sometimes it's not good at what it does, but because this lady has so much contrast going on with the background, we may be able to just click this and have it work. Yep, that worked pretty good. So yeah, really handy new tool. That was pretty much perfect. The other way to do this would be to, if I press undo, grab our lasso tool. If for some reason the AI auto remove background isn't working, and you're just going to literally outline, right? So it may take a little bit, but if it's like the perfect vector image and it's what you want to do, that's what you do. But for now, we're just going to let that tool do its work. Perfect. All right. You can see how it did not do destructive modeling here. It made a mask. So that's kind of neat too. You don't actually lose your base image. It just creates a mask over that image. Okay. So now we are going to want to color her in like we did the guy, but so because it's a clipping mask, you can see it's still selecting from the image below because we have this selected. If we click over here to our mask, it's going to be doing the same thing as well. So what I'm going to do is create a new layer. I'm going to click off of here and I'm going to allow it to say select subject. Select subject with the correct layer selected here, layer 0. All right, and so our tool has also selected her as the subject. We're going to say copy. We're going to move to layer 1 and say paste. Select inverse, use our brush tool, and there we go. Pretty simple and easy. I'm going to say file, export, quick export as a PNG, and I'm going to save over this one that I did before I colored it in. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay, and so lastly, we are going to use this more complex image here. I have a feeling that the remove background is not going to work. We're just going to go ahead and click and try it. It did a pretty good job. We did lose our trunk here, as you can see when I paint over this clipping mask. So what we can do actually to save that, so to edit our clipping mask here, we can literally use our paintbrush to add and delete. So this white color over here is going to be additive, and if we switch over here to the black, it's going to subtract. So you can come in here and start painting away what you actually want it to keep. Like so. I'm doing a really sloppy job of it, but I'll come back and redo it. I'm going to show you another way. Let's say that this tool really didn't do a good job of hiding this tree, and we just have to do it by hand. We can start using our magic wand, but again, it's going to be near impossible to start coming in and getting all these little shapes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my lasso tool, and I'm just going to roughly cut out the shape of this tree here. Trying to keep the grass and the other trees as far away from the drawing as possible. I'm going to say select inverse, so it's actually selecting the things outside of the tree. And I'm going to say delete. What we could do too to not do destructive drafting is we can make our own clipping mask here with this button. And so it's going to do basically what the AI tool was doing before with our other drawing. So what we want to do is, instead of having that outer selected, like I said before, we were just going to delete it. We will have it, I pressed undo, so the interior of the tree is selected. As you can see, if I press delete, it deletes that tree. I'm going to press undo. I'm going to select our masking tool, and it's going to mask over here. Okay, so now we could come in with our brush tool, start deleting here. You can see it's because I have the black selected, or if we wanted to add, change this over to white, you could start adding. So getting in here to all of these little annoying bits in this tree, you could just get in here with your magic wand and start clicking, right, and deleting. And that's certainly how I did it when I was first learning Photoshop, and I wanted to use these more realistic images in my drawings for architecture school. There's a much simpler way of selecting these things, so we can actually select by color. So without anything selected, I'm going to go up here to my toolbar at the very top. I'm going to click select, and then I'm going to say color range here. Okay. I'm going to make sure, okay, so I had this clipping plane, or not clipping plane, I had this mask selected. I'm going to make sure I have my actual image selected. Go to select and say color range. Okay, so now you can see our image doesn't disappear. I'm going to grab this blue color, and then I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to just start clicking the range of these sky colors. And you can see as I do, it's going to start filling in all the little gaps here. We can look here where it's getting a little vague. where this blue gets really dark. So I'm selecting up here and you can see it filled. This gray starts to fill it. Perfect. And then we're going to say okay. And then you can see all of the selections that we've made. I'm going to zoom outward. We're going to move to our mask layer. I'm going to press B. And we're going to make sure we have our black color selected here. And then I'm simply just going to swipe away all of that sky. Press deselect, and there you go. Okay. So now I want to paint this object black, but if you remember from before, it's still using that layer mask. So when I try to magic wand, it's hard to grab everything. We also have all these little holes now in here that are going to be really hard to select. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right click on our mask with our mask selected. I'm going to say add mask to selection. So now it's going to select this shape. Now I can use my brush tool on a new layer. Make sure I have black here and just paint over it. Perfect. And here is our tree vector that we're going to add into our drawing. I just need to clean up this bottom bit a little bit. And I'm going to create the bottom of this trunk here that we can put in our drawing. Perfect. All right, so that's just some quick Photoshop tips for making your own vector imagery and how I made the ones that we're going to be using in our image in class.